abusuafo ne adɔfo mu nyinaa kwa biem saa bere yɛde ni betri mu ɛyɛ Parliament House na ɛyɛ kenofrata update free oba no ɛne yɛnsa ka yɛde nyinaa yɛde ebegu ha na so onye bi eti na so onye bi ahwɛ sɛ sɛ so nsa ka bia no like ahwɛ ma onua so yɛde enye bi eti no so hu update ɛde fa kenofrata case no last week ɛna ɛyɛ kenofrata communicating with Afenyo Markin. Afenyo Markin and Kasankasa disclose so on in a dinkomo no I traumatized our phone so because of the way OSP handle case no. Nene Kenofratas Afenyo Markin asenya floor in Parliament House. Share the exact data Kenofrata beba. Say in the next 6 weeks to 8 weeks time no will be in surgery no not just waiting my bed. Share OSP in person, chese on any be share face to face no multi didn't come. Now during the discussion, and I just say a year majority leader a year Mahama Yariga sorry it's me then stop Afenyo Markin trying to defend Kenofrata in Parliament. Now was school near a stopping not just so one man jack statement na wadia or one man in a statement in book or stopping arches just a NDC MPs for any about just or go a Afenyo Markin massing as secretary to young couldn't go ahead new head.
Further to statements are made in respect of some actions at the residence of former Finance Minister, Mr. O.Atta. There were comments.
Honorable, respected Minority Leader, are you coming under Order 93.1?
That is so, rightly so, sir.
Okay, and I understand you've conferred with your
That is so.
Very well. Okay.
Very well. Mr. Speaker, so again, fortified by Order 93.1, I rise to bring to your attention that as a result of the issue I raised on the floor, which led to further comments and all that, Mr. Speaker, I had given assurances to the House that in the interests of democracy and the rule of law, and to assure the nation that this side of the House will do all it can to ensure that the member, the Honorable O.Atta avails himself to attend upon the OSP. Indeed, I pursued it, I engaged him extensively, and his lawyers, Mr. Speaker, in a letter dated today, the 18th of February 2025, have written to the OSP, and for the avoidance of doubt, I shall read the content aloud. It's addressed to the Special Prosecutor, our redirection to attend the Office of Special Prosecutor. It reads, we acknowledge receipt of your letter dated the 17th of February 2025. We respectfully indicate that our client's post-mark date for his return cannot be any time before 6 to 8 weeks after the possible surgical intervention in March stated in the Mayo Clinic letter. Our client hopes that taking into account the surgery dated the 20th to 21st of March and recuperation period, he should be able to back to this jurisdiction between 14th May and 30th May 2025. We hope you find this date reasonable and same can guide your office in fixing a date for the in-person attendance of our client to your office for investigation. Having clarified the purpose and length of our client's absence,
Leader,
we hope that the tag of a
Leader,
wanted person.
Hold on, please. Yes, my Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, what the Minority Leader is doing is conveying a communication from the lawyers of Honorable Ken O.Atta to this House. So, Speaker, the rules of this House are clear on communications. If you go to Order 65, it is clear on communications to the House. Who qualifies to communicate to the House and who qualifies to convey the communication to the House? They are clearly spelled out in Order 65, and I think that what he's attempting to do is to convey a communication by the lawyers of Ken O.Atta to this House, which is clearly wrong. Mr. Speaker, it is clearly wrong to attempt to be the conveyor of communication from Ken O.Atta's lawyers to this House. I think that it is not acceptable, and we cannot accept communication from the lawyers of Ken O.Atta to this House. He is not a member of this House. He is not a Minister of State. And so there's no basis for this House to be receiving communication from the lawyers of Ken O.Atta. We haven't summoned him before any of our committees. He is not to appear before a committee. We are not investigating him. So on what basis is his lawyers communicating to us when he will come to Ghana and when he will not come to Ghana? So, Mr. Speaker, there is no basis for the communication to this House of the whereabouts of Ken O.Atta. And he is not qualified to convey that message to this House. And this House cannot properly receive that message. So I object to that communication being made to this House about the whereabouts of O.Atta and when he will come to Ghana. I think the matter is between him and the Office of Special Prosecutor. Let him deal with them. This House is not interested in when he will come and when he will not come. So I object to this communication being made. He can step outside and organize a press conference and tell the whole country what Ken O.Atta is saying, but not to this House. So, Mr. Speaker, our orders are very clear. I object. I object.
Well, I understand he conferred with you. Probably didn't get to know the details of it, but that's the information I understand.
Mr. Speaker, I agree to the terms of his objection. I wanted to do what we call elucidation, but when it comes to the jurisprudence of the House, I think he's a champion. I won't take his title from him. Mr. Speaker, I believe that the gravamen of my submission basically is to say that pursuant to the matters that I raised on the floor, and then indeed, Mr. Speaker, again, I stood in the dispatch box to give assurance to the nation that I was engaging the man. So I was basically informing this House again that indeed the right thing has been done, the communication has been made, and I only felt that I should at least bring to the fore the content of that. But Mr. Speaker, I agree with him. I just want to rest my case by reiterating that further to my assurance, the gentleman would be in the jurisdiction in the appointed time as communicated to the special prosecutor for the in-person interview. However, he again assures his countrymen and women that should it be that they would need him via technology, he would also be available. Mr. Speaker, I'm saying this because this matter came to the floor. This matter came to the floor, and we discussed it at length. So the majority leader, if you don't want me to tender the letter, that's fine. I agree with you. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. But just to re-echo my point, to assure you and to assure the special prosecutor that the man would come into the jurisdiction to avail himself for investigation and all other things that the special prosecutor may require of him. So thank you very much.
Fine. I believe we could have done it in such a way that
I only wanted, as lawyers, would always be asked that lay a foundation. But it's okay. I'm not litigating it. I've still addressed the matter. It's because I assured the House in the dispatch box. So, Mr. Speaker, I just ended.
Very well.
Yes.
Very well. Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, just for our understanding of the practice, the procedure, yes, and what we can do in this House. Mr. Speaker, if you go to our standing orders, independent constitutional bodies. Defined. It says that independent constitutional bodies include the Electoral Commission, Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, National Commission for Civic Education, National Media Commission, Office of the Administrator of the District Assembly's Common Fund, Office of the Auditor General, Bank of Ghana, and other bodies established to have exclusive jurisdiction in the performance of assigned functions. Just for our education, the Office of Special Prosecutor is established and conferred with exclusive jurisdiction to deal with certain assigned functions. Then you come to Order 121 of our standing orders, and it says that audience to a head of an independent constitutional body. The head of an independent constitutional body may be summoned or granted audience at Committee of the Whole to brief the House on a matter of national importance. And then the head of an independent constitutional body shall not participate in debate at plenary. So there is a framework. If you really want this matter to come before this House, it can come by way of we summoning the special prosecutor to this House. And then we can ask him questions about the matter, where the matter has reached. And if you want to engage him, you can engage him at that level. So I'm not saying that nothing about it can happen, but there are procedures. And so that's why I'm urging you that if you want to really do that, go through those laid down procedures, but you don't have capacity to be conveying communications to this House.
Thank you very, very well. Honorable members, we learn each day. I think it's good that we are having this. Yes, let me listen to Medina.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I believe that as a matter of practice and also procedure, once the Honorable Minority Leader has accepted the objection in the terms within it came from the Majority Leader, it would be appropriate that I will pray, Mr. Speaker, to expunge from the records of Parliament and to expunge from the Hansard the part of the letter that was earlier read. Particularly, yes, actually it's void ab initio. And so, Mr. Speaker, I pray that Mr. Speaker would order that that part of the record be expunged from the record. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, I was so magnanimous to even extend the invitation to you. After the leaders have spoken, I think that could have been concluded. So the matter has been concluded. So let's move on to our statement.
I was for a scenes just a course of Parliament House. Afenyo Markin and I just say on one part anymore guances our Parliament House trying to use a Parliament standing orders to abuse the standing orders in Parliament. Now Speaker Albertine Dromi in so MPP. That was the reason why at the first day I'm more appointing a second deputy speaker in Parliament. There were a whole lot of a commenter against the AGM say now more these people adding. So Ghana for among these huge numbers. These be numbers ni so moment me hwehwem enya a second deputy speaker Emma in free mo side. Rather than to go for the opposition party money pass on me second deputy. And near so unim and no ma kwama Afenyo Markin at one statement and so. But to get a learned a majority leader Mahama Yariga or not just say to me sorry as usually the standing order and the Afenyo Markin and the speaker no are not a chair so. Na you heard you and Neman Sequoia. Mahama Yariga me who say Afenyo Markin abuse the standing orders in Parliament. Just say Parliament as I speak omuni kenofrata any assembly. Parliament and somehow be a someone OSP some brame brief the Parliament. The case is between OSP and O.Atta. Parliament chese enko committee be anymore parliament na chese committee na hwehwemu awie na ye the result oba onyemonye sa de parliament a committee ka so hwehwemu pon you people I can say montena say ema yenye den ye investigate me to mano asem the committee or parliament no mo boycott mo amankwatena say na obi case OSP no mo person of force edition a parliament con na afi the abe government business and assessing. How come say obi ko ye allegedly ko bono chrono baby na parliament be so kasa chrono ho asem. There are a lot of institutions on which may brief the nation. And as I say parliament person involved institution mum na see a friend no any individual no akobo chrono. So that was the reason why I am Mahama Yariga. Sorry to me shutting it down. I just say I have Afenyo Markin him go as when the man to announce him to be I know who the course of parliament or such as in Yasin. This is the type of leadership a lot of Ghanaians expect. And who never repeat my channel in the comment section. Subscribe and share my news so the Inye Binti Akroma.